It is now time to recognize our honorees, Dr. Dan and Leslie Chase. To begin the recognition, it is my pleasure to call to the dais two community rabbis, Rabbi Howard Zaks, spiritual leader of Congregation Torah Temet, and Rabbi Chaim Yosef Ackerman, rabbi of Ahava Shalom Congregation, to say a few words about our honorees.
Good evening. I'd like to begin by telling the story of the mayor of a metropolitan city who was walking with his wife one afternoon to an affair at City Hall, and along the way, there was a construction worker who waved down to the wife of the mayor, and she waved and smiled back, to which the mayor said, "Who was that?" And she said, "That was John, my college sweetheart," to which the mayor said, "Aren't you glad that you married me instead of a construction worker?" And she turned to him and said, "Mr. Mayor, you don't understand. If I had married him, he'd be the mayor." So, if you read the little bio in the journal this evening, you may have noticed that it was Leslie who put out the word to get Dan involved on a committee, finance committee, ultimately leading to his taking on the presidency and accomplishing many things that you will hear about. But don't think for a second that Dr. Leslie Chase is just the woman behind the president. Leslie, of course, has done a yeoman's job in helping and supporting Dan in his role as president, taking on even more responsibility at home and elsewhere. But she herself, as you well know, an accomplished professional and community leader and mother of their three daughters. Leslie, as some of you may have known, was one of the leaders in the Vaad HaKashrut, now Buckeye Kosher, in bringing in new accounts and raising a wonderful multi-thousand-dollar grant to start new businesses, to support businesses that are under the Vaad. And she has done many, many other things within the community in her own right. She is not the woman behind the man. She is the woman who stands next to and equal to her husband, Dr. Dan Chase.
One thinks of Dr. Dan Chase, and the first word or description that comes to mind is, for lack of a better term, mensch. Ethics of the Fathers, Pirkei Avos, says that when the spirit of fellow human beings are pleased with an individual, that is a sure sign that God, that Hashem as well, is very pleased with that person. And God forbid the opposite is the case, then in truth their relationship with God is lacking as well. Affable, despite hailing from Philadelphia, Dr. Dan is truly a mensch. And to see him in our daily minyan in the morning is to see that bridge from his interpersonal relationships with others in leadership positions and just as a friend into his close, deep, and inspiring tefillah, his davening, his prayers in the morning. Accomplished in his own right, this is where a true servant of Hashem, one who epitomizes, one in which our students, our children at Columbus Torah Academy aspire to be like Dr. Dan Chase, to be a true role model. Accomplished in his own right, and spending a few hours each week at least, in the professional sense as an ear, nose, and throat doctor, Dr. Chase never introduces himself in that way. He's Dan. True to form in a very unassuming way, in a way in which we can all aspire to be just like Dr. Dan. I have here something that was worked very hard upon, but is certainly worthy of mention, a commendation from Governor John R. Kasich and Mary Taylor from the state of Ohio honoring Drs. Dan and Leslie Chase. this evening, for your continued support of the Columbus Torah Academy. But what you, Dr. Dan and Leslie, and your children, Emily, Ellie, and Julie, have done for Columbus Torah Academy and the community has provided an example for what we truly aspire toward, what we want for ourselves and for our children, in terms of your hard work, in terms of your dedication, and ultimately, in terms of your menschlichkeit. Mazel tov. It is at this time that we want to direct your attention to the screens in front of you for a video tribute to the Chases.
I often wondered what one of the keys to their success was, and I think part of it is neither one of them needs much sleep.
It helps that he apparently never has to sleep, he never has to eat, he never has to really do anything except he has all the time in the world to devote to the school.
I think the only thing he does at the doctor's office is Torah Academy business.
No, he has a job and a job. If you call him at 3 in the morning, he's typing for CTA.
What I jokingly say is that my hobby is that I'm an ear, nose, and throat physician, but my real job is that I'm the president of the board of Columbus Torah Academy.
Dan and Leslie are really role models in terms of parents. Their commitment from K through 12 education all the way through has been really solid.
They were totally involved in all the school activities, and Leslie would come to all the games and volunteer whenever she could. They taught their kids to seek the hardest challenges and to put forth every effort in order to meet their goals.
I'm sure there's 1,001 things I've done at CTA that aren't like a particular committee, but it's like, oh, maybe we could put flowers together and do flowers. Maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that. We've all done that. I mean, you know, I think that's just what you do for your kids.
Dan and Leslie believe in Jewish education, and more than that, they believe in Judaism. They don't want their kids to learn Judaism like you learn about some ancient civilization. They want them to learn it, to live it.
It's clear that Dan and Leslie put a tremendous value on Jewish education and the importance of that for their children and for the whole community.
And a lot of people went through the Torah Academy system in some way. They may have gone all the way through and graduated, or they might have gone part of the way through. And it's kind of a common language across a lot of the congregations and a lot of the people here. And it's almost implicit as a part of Columbus. So it's kind of a core institution and one that brings everybody together.
We are very lucky to have Dan and Leslie as part of our community. They are relentless when it comes down to getting something done. When they see that something needs to be done, they jump right in and they do not give up. You should have seen Leslie get involved with the VOD and the rabbis trying to get the kosher department over at Kroger's. She would not let go until it was accomplished.
Now, Dan, on the other hand, first thing he tells you is he's from Philadelphia.
I grew up in Philadelphia.
And he warns you. He says, Philadelphia means that I'm a fighter.
And Columbus is very different from Philadelphia.
And then he wants to get in a fight about Columbus Torah Academy. Do you believe in Jewish day school education? Yes. Well, then you ought to be giving more for Columbus Torah Academy.
I say to people it took a while to get over my obnoxiousness, from Philadelphia, which I didn't completely get rid of.
He's ready for a fight about it. He's so passionate about this, and he doesn't give up.
I know that Dan has faced many challenges in his years of leadership at CTA, and he will not shy away from hard work or from the tough decisions that need to be made.
It's been incredible to work with Dan. He's been a transformative leader of the school. He came to the board and had a very clear mission from day one about the kinds of things, the kinds of directions that he wanted the board to move in, that he thought would be best for the board to move in terms of what to do for the school and how to take CTA into the future.
They are loyal, they are dedicated, they are motivated, and they're extremely principled. And I think those words probably describe them best, and it's because of those qualities that they have won the respect of the entire community.
I think when we're in these smaller communities, what's really, I think, a blessing is that everyone's important and everybody counts, and that you can really make a difference if you put a little bit of effort in. And I think that's one of the things that makes Columbus special.
I'll give Leslie a lot of credit. Dan spends all his time with Torah Academy, and he goes to Daf Yomi, and he goes to every minyan. And Leslie, not only doesn't she begrudge it, but she's very supportive.
She's pushing me to some extent to achieve certain things, and I feel in some ways it's for the community, but also for my wife, that I want to do a really good job. And no parent likes it when the other parent's not around. But if what they're doing is really meaningful, then that part of not being around, you get over it much easier. I would say that's the case.
We get by.
Please welcome Dan and Leslie Chase together with Emily, Ellie, and Julie to receive their reward from Rabbi Kahn.
It's a great honor on behalf of the entire Columbus Torah Academy to present you with this beautiful gift. It reads, in recognition of Dan and Leslie Chase for their love, dedication, and support of Columbus Torah Academy, presented at the annual scholarship dinner, November 24th, 2013, 21st Kislev, 5774, Mazel Tov.
Let's have the girls pay me my water.